Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of. Well, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yep, that's right. We're going to get to some more titles. Did we write them down? No, I don't think we wrote them down.
Memorized, kind of. One was tactics. One was about tactics.
Tuesday Tactics.
Tuesday Tactics.
My college roommate, not roommate, my teammate, Kevin Veer, sent that to us about Tuesday Tactics.
I just couldn't say that real fast.
Almost a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister. So, welcome
Amy
back.
sent one too. So, Amy, if you can send that one that you sent regarding the title of our show, that'd be great because we need to make a decision what we're going to call it. And so, anybody else that out there that has more ideas regarding what they think our show should be called, send it to us.
We need something.
We got 2 titles. We need a couple more to choose from.
So it's good to have you back. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're watching. Whether you're watching us live or you're going to watch us later on, it's good to have you.
That's right.
Because there's nothing but good stuff that we sling around here.
That's right.
And you grab onto and run with it, and there's nothing you can become stronger, better, badder, whatever you want is here for you. So let's.
What do we got? What's our date? May 14th?
Today's what? Yeah. So yeah, May 14th. May 14th.
We've been knocking it out since late January.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost 6 months.
Almost 6 months. Had a little bit of a. We had a couple weeks off. Norbert was down in health, but his health is back, and he's
back in black, baby.
He's healthy and strong now, like a bull. So he's ready. He's ready to go now. I can't keep up with him now.
Stop it.
All these ideas he has for us, but we're just great to be again a part of this.
Yeah.
Doing this, and means a lot to both of us.
It does. It really does. And hopefully it means a lot to you and you're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
We just want to keep building a sort of a catalog of information that you can refer to, and it's trusted, you know. Most everyone that I've seen on here, I know personally. So it's trusted information. So we just don't sling stuff and share stuff that's just out from left field and just kind of this new age stuff, but it's good stuff. So
the first one, Amy just reminded. So our first one from Kevin was Tuesday Tactics, and Amy just reminded us of the other title, and that's the acronym is ABLE, A-B-L-E, and that's Achieving Better Life Experience. That was the other. That was the other idea. So
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So
that's a good one.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll go from there. So
now I'm going through Facebook. I gotta make sure that we're on the right page because last week, you know what I did?
What happened?
I put us on my personal page, which I'm never on Facebook. I'm never on that one. So hopefully, Amy, are we on the right page? Hopefully, we're on the right page. So, yep, there we are. I found it. I found it. Thank you.
Yep.
We're on the right page.
I see it.
We're on the right page. So, my friend, let's go through. Spend a couple minutes on last week.
Yeah. So last 2 weeks we were on wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, we were working smarter, not harder. Yep. And last week was on procrastination.
Yes.
And how to address that. And we went through a number of different ideas regarding procrastination and making sure that we deal with difficult tasks and looking at ourselves. We talked about a couple of studies, one out of the University of Stanford, where we talked about, if you remember, the current self and the future self.
That's right. That was good.
If you saw yourself as a person that took care of your responsibilities, then you also saw yourself successful in the future.
That was great.
But those who procrastinated did not see themselves in the future. And what happened during the study is that their neural activity was lower because they saw themselves consistent with that of a stranger. Remember that, because they didn't see themselves as being successful.
Yep.
So we talked about a lot of strategies about making sure. We talked 2 weeks about the 80-20 rule, coming up with a list of tasks to do, and then listing out the first 2 or 3 as the ones being the priority that you address. So those are one of the tactics. You know, with that being said, since we started, you know, we talked about goal setting. We talked about shutting out the noise of negative thinking.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about procrastination, goal setting, and, you know, we are in May 2019. And with all these things that we've talked about, one thing we can't miss is stress. Right? What stress does to us. is what we're going to talk about tonight, and how we can battle it. Give you some life application tools to help address stress. Because, before you know it, you're involved in something on a day-to-day basis, and you get irritable. You get edgy. You don't want to be by nobody. You want space. You want to move out. But and you don't know what it's from. But we're going to talk about stress. And what do you think some of the top 3 stresses are amongst our population of people? What do you think they are?
Well, for married people, it's got to be a spouse. Lord, forgive me if that's wrong. Spouse or money, one of those.
Well, in terms of, it's probably more chronic stress than anything. It's divorce.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Marital separation.
Yep. And
then one of probably the top one that I saw on all the lists had to do with, death of a spouse or a child. Those are some tough ones. Those are some big ones. Yeah. But I also think there's another one in there too.
What's
and
that?
That's being able to take care of a loved one who's sick, has a chronic illness. That's tough.
That's huge.
I didn't see that in any of the lists.
Really?
Did not. I saw top 10s, top 7, top 20. Taking care of a sick loved one was not one of the stressors. But I'm telling you, I watched people take care of loved ones. I watched my wife go back and forth to her hometown to help her grandmother when she was sick, and watched my wife's mother take care of her mother-in-law, which is, again, my wife's grandmother, when she was sick. And it was stressful for the whole family.
Yeah.
I've watched my mother take care of my stepfather when he had surgery, and they need a lot of support, and it can take its toll.
Right.
Not just physically, but also mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it builds.
It builds. And those are the chronic stressors. But what about daily stressors? What do you think some of the daily stressors that people deal with?
Oh my goodness, all kinds of stuff. My kids' exams, tests.
Yes, sir. You nailed it. Tests.
I got one tomorrow.
That's right. Tests and exams. My daughter's taking AP exams in the morning.
Oh.
And she did something tonight that I thought was really coming of age, because it is now 9 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock, she said, I'm taking a shower, I'm going to bed. She realizes I just got to
zip it out.
Cut it out, I'm done, I'm going to bed.
Yep.
And that's been growth for her, because 5 months ago, she would have stayed up to midnight trying to study.
Right.
And she realizes, it would probably be like stress study.
Yeah,
kind of forcing things in, and that doesn't really do well for anybody.
But
Tests.
Deadlines
Deadlines are tough. Can be tough for people on jobs and they're back to back.
Yep.
Right. Finances. Being able to pay bills.
That's it.
Right.
That's
Keep
right.
the light bill on. Pay your cell phone bill. All those things can be quite stressful.
Yeah.
Fatigue.
Fatigue is a huge one.
Yes, sir.
Fatigue is a huge one.
It is.
Because your instinct is to push through it, which causes more stress and more stress. As you're trying to fight and you're thinking, what in the world is going on?
Right.
More stress, yeah. That's a huge one.
Oh.
That's a huge one.
Monday I woke up, Monday morning, and just right over my right eye, a major headache. I mean, you couldn't look to the right, couldn't look to the left. I was like, what is this?
Oh.
And it was my body telling me, slow down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slow down.
Absolutely.
And there's a concept I want to talk about, and it's the concept of homeostasis.
I love that word.
I love it.
That's a good
homeostasis.
Word. That's a good word.
Homeostasis is our body's ability to maintain a balance, a state of equilibrium.
That's a great word.
Homeostasis, remember it, our body's ability or desire to maintain a state of equilibrium.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever stresses you have, our body is going to try to do something to level that out so that we're not too emotionally up or down if we don't kick in our coping skills.
Right.
Body's going to do something. It's going to do something. to
Yeah.
try to maintain, to
Yeah.
deal with that type of stress. And one of the ways to try to deal with that stress is to think about it.
Yep.
To say, all right, I'm worried about this, but remember, this old brain of ours at times tends to focus on the negative.
Yep. That subconscious will run.
It'll just run, worry and worry
Yeah.
and worry and worry.
And there's no rest.
There's no rest.
Your body gets no rest. Your mind gets no rest.
One of our subtitles, I think in week 3 or 4, was Shut Out the Noise.
Shut out the noise.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was about negative thinking.
That's right.
So stress can create that and will create it. So we have to be aware of that. So keep that in mind as we talk about the different strategies as we go on regarding how to handle stress,
Yeah.
our body maintaining a state of balance, homeostasis, a state of equilibrium.
That's right. That's right.
And other things I want to talk about is stress hormones. I'm going to mention a couple of them. One is called cortisol. Cortisol and adrenaline. And our body will create
Right.
more of this hormone if we're under chronic stress.
Right.
And the basic function is, again, trying to maintain a state of equilibrium.
Yep. Get your body right.
Is getting your body ready to, if we look about our body's design, our brain is designed to have what they call this fight response. And that cortisol hormone will trigger that,
Right.
right? So it's fight or flight, and it's going to go one way or another. But if we're in a constant state of it, then we have to deal with other issues regarding our health.
Yeah.
And one of those issues is that when you have chronic cortisol, you are going to decrease your body's immune system to function properly.
Right.
Which now leaves us exposed to viruses and illnesses. So we got to be able to recognize when we're under stress.
It's amazing. This may be as elementary as it gets, but I know a lot of you feel this way. It's amazing how your mental capacity, a thought, controls a chemical.
Oh, wow. We're going to get there.
I mean, that's
That
just,
thought
that's
piece
amazing.
is powerful.
It's amazing.
It's powerful.
You know, the way you think, that's what you become.
That's right.
I mean, that's just the reality. And sometimes we try to skip over it. We get a little ignorant or we
right.
play dumb.
That's right.
And we kind of skip over it, and that just, it hurts us in the long run.
It does.
It hurts us in the long run. That thought process is important.
It is important because if we don't recognize it properly, what the symptoms that we see is irritability.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure when the last time you've been irritated, but I know when the last time I was irritated. You know, it's something that was bothering me at work, and I could not wait to get home to go work out because one of my abilities to cope with some type of stressor is to go work out.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to be careful because I just realized in some of my reading that I can increase cortisol by my workout. So I have to be careful about
That's that
about
homeostasis.
That's right. Because the body's going to respond.
Yeah.
Because guess what I'm doing? I'm on a bike. I'm running. I'm creating stress in my body.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful
Yep.
how intense my workout is.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really good. I used to go intense for like an hour. And I realized it's better to go intense, take a break, go intense, take a break, let the body recover.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we can get infections, and one of the other problems that people tend to deal with most when they under stress, they can't do what?
So
They
sleep.
can't take a nap. They can't sleep.
Yep.
Because the brain is just running and running and running and running. And so it's very important that if you got, well, I ain't got to talk to you about sleep.
No.
What you went through,
something.
what you went through 4 weeks ago.
Let me tell you something about sleep. You gotta have your sleep.
Wow.
You know, I'll tell you a short testimony.
Please.
I went 9 days.
9. Oh,
9 days.
I get
without
sleepy
sleeping.
just hearing that.
9 days.
9 days.
See, what I do is I'm a man of many interests, and I trade currencies on the side.
Okay.
And I was staying up late, and I wasn't even realizing I was staying up late. And then my kids would get up, and then I would just pop up with them before, and then I would just go and go and go. And then there was a combination where they told me I was allergic to certain medications. It was the medications that they were giving me for blood pressure. So actually, I don't even need that. They're phasing me out completely out of anything, so I don't need any kind of medications. But I went 9 days without sleeping. That's when they admitted me to the hospital.
I can't imagine.
Slammed me with medication because they thought I was going crazy or something. Made me worse. I ended up in ICU for 3 days. My kidneys were shutting down. I didn't remember it. My wife tells me I couldn't swallow correctly. I couldn't eat for 3 days, or drink and eat by myself for 3 days because of all that was happening. Finally, it dawned on them to back the medication off. And I started to just come out of it. For a while. Sleep is important. And all they did, I got an allergic reaction, I think on the 6th day I was there. They wouldn't give me medication for it. They said I'd have to survive it because they were worried that it would throw me into some sort of seizure. Sleep is so important.
Woo, you were, man. That was
crazy.
Amazing what I saw
It was
with
crazy.
you in the hospital.
It was wild.
9
Sleep.
days.
9
so
days.
You gotta get if you notice you're waking up in the middle of the night, you can't go to sleep. On average, it takes, from the time people lay their head down, from time they lay down and their head hits the pillow, anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes on average to be able to fall asleep. If you're up not 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you have constant running thoughts, you got to do something differently because there's some worrying going on or something going on with your sleep. Especially now, listen, once, twice a month, probably no big deal. But if you're running a week or two at a time and you can't get to sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night, can't fall back to sleep, or you're waking up 2 hours before you should be awake, I'm going to say it right now, consult with a physician.
Something's wrong.
Something is wrong.
Something is
You
wrong.
need to go check it out because that sleep is a recharger.
Yeah.
I'll say it resets.
Yep.
It resets our body.
Yep.
So if you got problems with sleep,
I mentioned this early when we started. I think it was David Allen.
okay.
He has an organization system. It's a tremendous getting things done. GTD. That's what it is. David Allen, getting things done. One point he made that stuck with me. He said that make time, or give. And you mentioned this a week or two ago. Give enough time to deal with a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what you said. And what he said, he added
right.
to it, is don't waste your time on something that you can't deal with right now.
That's right.
So at night, when you're going to bed and you're worrying
right.
about paying the light bill,
That's right.
there's nothing you can do at night.
That's right.
And the fact is that if you waste hours
Yes.
staying awake, you waste productivity
Mm-hmm.
that could be put towards figuring out how to pay the light bill when you do wake up. So if I stay up till 1 in the morning and I have to be up at 5 a.m.,
Right.
I'm exhausted.
right.
At 5 a.m., I'm no good. At 6 a.m., I'm no good. 7 a.m., that's loss of productivity. You have to tell yourself, I got to shut myself down. I've got to put myself away so that I'm fresh in the morning so I can handle this. Right. And sometimes I will symbolically lean over and touch something on my bedside table as an act that I'm putting something there. Because, my phone is there and
Yep.
my kids' phones are there and
Yep.
I have all kinds of little trinkets there. It's a sign that I will pick that up in the morning and I will take it with me to work. I'll take it to me wherever I'm going. Put it to the side and say, you know what, I'll pick that up tomorrow and I'll come up with a plan.
Okay.
And I will deal with it properly. So be careful how and when you worry, because it could rob you of some good time that you could actually be thinking about something else.
That's right. You're exactly right. And one of the strategies to deal with that is to write down what your plan's going to be the next
Come on,
day.
come on.
Right. So if I had a picture, right, a picture of Kool-Aid,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and I put a whole bunch of things in, I fill it up, right. One of the things that journaling does and writing things down is to pour those thoughts out
Yeah.
onto paper, emptying your brain.
Yep.
It's an analogy. It's a way of an exercise of saying, okay, whatever thoughts I have here, I'm going to put on paper. Because our body does have this way, our brain does have this way, is I'm not going to let you forget about this.
Yep.
And one way to not forget about it is to worry about it. One way not to worry about it is to write it down so you don't forget. So it's cyclical, right? So I think it's important to write those things down so you can empty out your brain, empty out your
Yeah.
thoughts, put it on paper. And it's not going anywhere. It'll be there tomorrow when you wake up.
I'd love to throw book recommendations out and resources. There is a software program. If you carry around a smartphone, it works great. It's called The Brain. I'm going to figure out how to put it in the comment section that you see it. TheBrain.com. It's a mind mapping program that you can just empty out your mind in it, and it stays there, and it's on your phone, and then you can categorize it. You create parent thoughts or child thoughts or side thoughts, and you can connect things. That's how I use it.
Okay.
You know, I spent a whole weekend in Franklin Planner class. I don't know if you remember the Franklin Planner.
I remember the Franklin Planner.
I spent hours in that class trying to become more organized, and it didn't get me more organized. I just wrote a lot. But I discovered this program. I put names in it. I did dates. I put absolutely everything, and it's on my phone. I can work from my laptop or from my iPad or from my phone. So that's one way of getting it down there. Because sometimes I think you were the one that told us that you had a friend or a professor that had Post-it notes all over their house.
He's at Hillsdale College. I'll remember his name. It's Dr. Ram. I'll remember in a minute.
Yeah. I would lose them all. I have
Dr. Ransford. Dr.
Ransford.
Yeah.
I have Post-its all over the place, and I end up losing all my thoughts. So that program helps me.
There was Post-its in his office, on his computer. When I went to his house, they were all over the kitchen. They were all over the place. I said, wow, this man takes this serious.
He's not going to forget.
He was not going to forget. And because they were reminders, he didn't have to worry about them. No. He didn't have to think about them.
That's
all right, remember to do this. Remember to do that. I had to pay a bill for my daughter today for a class she's taking at Washington Community College. I told her, you know what, Stacy, why don't you send me a reminder to call? Well, she's got a busy day. Let me do it myself. I had to put it in my phone. Pay Washington Community College tuition. I had to put it in twice because I heard it the first part of the day. And I was like, hey, that thing hit. And I was like, do it later. You know, so, but guess what? Because I had a second thing. I had a second time set, right? And remember that law we talked about? Labortis law? The amount of time that you contribute to something is the amount of time it's going to take to do it. So I should have not set a second timer. I should have just stopped what I was doing at noon, said, give me a minute, and paid that bill. Yeah.
But you paid it.
Got it paid. Because the second one, I didn't have a backup. I didn't have a backup after that. I knew I had to do it. So that's important to do. But let's talk about daily stress. Daily stress and what we can do about it.
Come on.
One of the things I think is we need to be very intentional about.
What about a spa treatment every day?
Ooh.
Or massage every day? No, not possible.
I think it's possible.
Just, how would you say it? It would be financially draining?
Hey, wait a minute. You don't got to go to a masseuse. You don't got to go to a store frontage. Hey, our spouse.
I don't know. Amy, you're watching now. I don't know about that every day.
Well, I think Amy would take one every day.
She would take one.
She'd take one every day.
So would Rachel.
Right. Here's Rachel.
All right, that took us way off of
anyway, but we're going to get to that physical part too. There's something about that that's going to really help marriages, relationships, and all that. It's pretty cool. And that is being able to stop and physically remove ourselves. From something that's stressed. You might be in the middle of a meeting.
So important.
Have you ever been in the middle of a meeting and you needed a break?
Heck yeah. Walk out.
Did you ever take it?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. I've taken them.
I
gotta go bathroom.
If I don't get out.
If I don't get out, I'm gonna shout out. And I don't want to shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
To physically remove yourself from something. Right. So that's part of that. Your brain kicking in.
Yeah.
And it's saying you need a break. Something's going to go awry. Fight, response. And then, so we physically remove ourselves, right? And then now, once we physically remove ourselves, engage in some deep breathing. Now you're going to hear this. You're going to hear, if you go on Google and you type in stress relievers, one of the techniques you're going to hear about is deep breathing. You're going to hear them across many different therapeutic techniques and different regions in the country and across the world.
Right.
Of the importance of deep breathing. But I don't know if people understand the purpose of deep breathing and what it does to us physically.
Tell me.
So let's go. Let's go with it. And that is deep breathing, number one, adds oxygen.
Okay.
All right? It adds oxygen to our brain.
Makes sense.
Right? To reach our brain stem.
You make me want to breathe deep.
You did it 3 times.
Yeah.
Once I said, to take a deep breath, you did it 3 times in a matter of 5 seconds.
Look at that.
Because it's so important to us. As we add oxygen to our brain, guess what else that it does? It increases endorphins.
I like endorphins.
Endorphins makes us feel better. But what we're trying to really do is to really engage our brain stem. You know, there's a part of the brain called the reptile brain, and that brain is a very fast reacting brain. If we think about deers and cows and dogs and cats, they can't control their breathing. But because we have a brain stem, we can.
Really?
We can control our breathing.
Never thought of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell your dog, go upstairs, tell your dog to calm down, take a deep
just
breath.
now, before I came down, I have a Malamute, and he was laying at the foot of the bed, and I was walking through the room, and I could hear him breathing like a mile away because he was hot.
That's right.
I was like, can you just quiet it down a little bit?
Over time, once their body,
Yeah.
but they can't intentionally go,
That's
take
true.
a deep breath. But we can. We can. So since we have that tool, we have that capacity to do that, then it really is important to understand why so many cultures use deep breathing as a way to calm ourselves, because guess what we're going to do? We're going to bring our body back to a point of equilibrium.
Yeah, that's good.
Remember when we talked about that? We're going to use that a lot tonight.
Homeostasis. Yeah.
It's going to bring us back into balance, in a state of homeostasis.
Yeah.
And breathing will help that. If you look, anybody who needs to calm down and who are in a pressure, they are going to, whether they recognize it or not, they're going to calm down. If I'm upset and I'm rushed, I have to, before I talk. I remember a year ago, I broke up a fight at the high school. And it was a doozy. I mean, it was 20 people, at least 20 people watching, and 2 guys going at it. They were throwing fisticuffs. I jumped in the middle. I knew one kid said, come on, go with me. And then he got away, and I grabbed him. I said, come on, go with me. And then, I'm grabbing him, and he's trying to get to the other kid. My heart rate's and I'm mad now because he's not listening. And by the time we got back to my office, I started talking, and my speech was so pressured. I was fumbling over my words. I said, let me calm down first.
Yeah.
I gotta calm down. And then I could talk. I had to bring my body back to a state of equilibrium. So it's very important. So removing ourselves from the situation that's stimulating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because our body is responding to this stressor.
Yep.
And now, if we're alone, and once we start getting our breathing under control, guess the other thing we have to deal with? Our thoughts. Our thoughts. Because once you're physically, once you're no longer physically vulnerable, right, or in the state of anxiety or stress, you're under no threat to do anything.
Right.
Except for be by yourself.
That's a good statement. You're under no threat.
You're under no threat anymore.
That's good.
You're by yourself. But the next thing you have to deal with are your fears and concerns, your thoughts. And I heard someone say it earlier about fear stories. Fear stories are stories we make up. I won't be able to be successful because I've had a bad upbringing. I won't be able to do well on this test because you know what? I failed the last one.
I see.
Right? So moving yourself from maybe the classroom and saying, okay, I got to calm down. I will be okay.
Yep.
We have to change the language. We have to change the verbiage and how we talk to ourselves. So now we have to control the thoughts, because that's what we're in control of.
Yeah.
We're in control the breathing. Now we have to control our fear stories. The stories that make us feel threatened by what? Ourselves. Or, not so much by ourselves. Let me change that. We fear what we think might happen in the future.
Yeah.
I said it before, where I used the acronym. FEAR stands for false expectations appearing real.
Yeah. What I like to do is I like to build evidence.
Okay.
Evidence always works. Evidence always works.
That's right.
My youngest got hit with a baseball in the mouth, and he had blood everywhere. Teeth are all over the place. And for the last 3 or 4 days, he's only been able to eat pudding and Jell-O soft foods. Well, yesterday was the first day he could start eating some hard food. Well, Mama got some chocolates for Mother's Day.
Oh.
And so he was nibbling on them. Well, he tried to clean his teeth, but he's wearing these braces. He's got 4 or 5 braces in the front.
Okay.
He couldn't clean the chocolate off the front of his braces. So,
I can only imagine.
so he,
Only in the Rodriguez house does this stuff happen.
only in my house. So he got caught. Well, I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Evidence. So there was the evidence that, he had dipped into the chocolate a little bit.
Dipped into the chocolate.
And so when I get stressed out, I'd like to pull up evidence of why I shouldn't be stressed.
Yeah.
I can't handle this.
Yeah.
I try to remind myself of situations. I'll tell you one thing. I was about 10 years ago. I was at work. Actually, I had to meet with an Internal Revenue Service revenue officer.
That's stressful.
And if you've ever been in their office, they have one office locked out from all the other offices. They have a chair on each side. Now, if you bring somebody, 2 chairs, but that's all they have in the room. And then there's a small foyer that's maybe 10 by 6.
Okay.
And so I was getting so flustered that I wanted to get up and get out. And so I actually asked her if I could just step out for a second to get my breath. And I got out and I reminded myself, I'm prepared.
Okay.
The information I have is correct.
You went into a proactive mode.
Yes.
Positive thinking.
I try to get-
assurance. Wow.
I tried to get, and I said, I know I have all the documents she requires.
Okay.
There was no reason for me to get out of hand. I went back in there. And the other thing was, I put time limits on things. In my head, I knew I shouldn't be there no more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
And I didn't look at my watch. I'm good at not looking at my watch, trying to rush things on. But I knew that I had been in there for at least 25 minutes. And this should be wrapping up. And so my anxiety began to lessen, knowing that it won't be prolonged.
Okay.
As long as I do what I'm supposed to
You do
do.
what you're
And I was able to go in the meeting 5 minutes later, do the transaction, and we were done. Build evidence. Take evidence with you that says, I've done this before.
Okay.
I'm able to conquer this, and I'm able to move on.
And being sure of how you prepared yourself. There's
Yes.
nothing like going to an athletic competition
Oh,
or a
man.
test or some type of
business
exam,
meeting,
a
yeah.
job interview, a business meeting, and you recount your preparation. I had several teammates that before a game, you would think they were going to the movies. I'm like, man, this guy not worked up at all. It's my freshman year in college. I was like, he not worked up. He said, what do I got to be worked up about? I prepared for this for the last year. So this was just a matter of calming down himself before the game, but really recognizing I'm ready to go. I just need to hear the whistle to say let's go, because he was already mentally prepared. So he wasn't thinking about the things that that might go wrong.
Right.
He was thinking about how he was prepared for things to go right.
Right.
So that's one way to think about that
That's
cognitive
good.
piece.
That's good. That's
So.
good. I just figured out,
Okay.
for some reason, your comments weren't coming through, but I got your comments there, guys. Michelle is out there. We say hi to Michelle and Natalie and Gary and Scott. And
Awesome.
We love you guys, and it's good to have you, but we like I said, we just got the comments operating here, but go on. Go ahead.
That one says, what does it say about breathing?
Breathing helps. Oh, breathing.
Staying calm, always in order.
Yep.
Is that what it says?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So someone also said that there's nothing to fear but fear itself, and I like that. I like that comment. I've heard it for years. But the truth of the matter, that's very important. But one of the things we have to be concerned about is realizing that the fears are the worries we create in our own head. So they're fear stories.
Absolutely.
So people say, well, fear is fear itself, but it's listening to your story of saying, why do I think I'm not going to be successful? Versus how am I prepared to be successful, or what else I need to do to become successful, and begin acting on those things that you need to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
What title would you give that? You have fear stories.
Okay.
What would be the opposite?
Of a fear story?
Yeah. We got
Opposite of a fear story would be something that's to do with affirmations, I would think. Positive thinking. Maybe that's too simple, but that's really what it is. Because you're going to reframe.
Yeah.
You're going to reframe what happened.
Yeah.
Quick story this morning. My daughter forgot her volleyball bag. She travels from Ann Arbor to I think the Wixom area for volleyball practice. So I texted her. I said, "Hey, listen, you forgot your bag at home," and she realized she had to. She's like, "Oh, I gotta come back and get it." I said, "Yeah, but the positive thing is that you got to come back from Ann Arbor versus Wixom." She was like, "Yep, you're right."
Yeah.
Because I would hate to have gotten out there.
45 minutes? something like
45
that?
minutes, she
Yeah.
would have probably missed the practice, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's reframing things in a positive way.
And that's powerful.
It is
That's
powerful
power.
because, again, the downhill slide is when you start thinking about
Yeah.
all the negative things, why you couldn't do something like, well, wait a minute, let me just. And one of the things, well, maybe it just wasn't meant to be right now.
Yeah.
It's not the end. Remember, we talked about failures. It's not the end all be all. They're lessons. They're ways to take lessons from what we didn't do well, but and say, well, I'll try again another time.
Yeah.
So let's go with some other practical things, which I think I like to do a lot, and I love to hear it,
Okay.
especially from children. No one know what it is? Laughter.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Oh my goodness! You know, I can't remember it, but there was a movie, a true story that who played Mrs. Doubtfire? What's that actor's name? Robin Williams.
Yep.
I believe he also played another character of a gentleman in a hospital in Pennsylvania, and he dressed up as a clown, and it was a great movie.
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams.
I bought the book. I love that story.
Patch Adams.
Oh, I
He
loved it.
he lived the application of laughing.
Yeah, that's it.
So-
Patch Adams. If you haven't seen that movie, see it. I have
It's
the
awesome.
book.
It's awesome. You got to watch it. And guess what? At the end of the show, at the end of the movie, what I took from that movie was, man, life is serious, but it's not that serious.
No.
It's not that
No.
serious. It's not that serious.
Nope.
So here's what laughing does. When you laugh, you take in more oxygen, and when you take in more oxygen, you increase endorphins, which makes you feel better. Right? There's been studies that have been shown that just waiting in line to watch a funny movie, it will decrease something called oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it now. I'm drawing a blank. It decreases chromogranin A.
That's PhD stuff.
Chromogranin, I got it. Chromogranin A, which is a stress hormone. Just waiting in line to watch a funny movie or watching something funny will decrease the stress hormone.
Really?
Hormone called chromogranin A. Isn't that powerful?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do? I'll tell you a little secret.
Okay.
YouTube has them all over the place. Listen to a baby laugh. You cannot laugh if you hear a baby laugh.
You cannot laugh.
You cannot help but laugh.
Oh, got it.
Got it
Okay.
right there. Cannot help but laugh.
Okay.
When you hear a baby laugh.
Okay.
And on YouTube they have them all. So sometimes when I'm just in that mood and I gotta get out of that mood, you gotta snap yourself out of that mood.
Okay.
I'll put out one of those YouTube videos and it's just listen to a baby laugh. And it'll just stir up a little thing. You gotta control your mind. And this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That mind is a powerful thing.
Powerful.
That it can control the chemicals in your body.
That's right. And I got it wrong. Let me fix it.
Come on.
When you're waiting in line for a movie, a funny movie, it increases your beta endorphins.
Okay.
Okay? Following a movie, a funny movie, people have been studied after they come out from a movie that it decreases the stress hormone called chromogranin A.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's powerful. I read the
believe
study
it.
the other day.
I believe it.
And so we'll think about some things of life application in the next couple of days or so this weekend. Go see a funny movie.
Uh-huh.
Watch it at home,
Yeah.
whatever venue that you have on
Yeah,
on your TV. The other thing is, everybody's gonna love this one because I like this one. Wanna know what it is?
What?
Kissing. Kissing, I said it. Kissing. So listen, if you're by your spouse, your significant other, or whatever, kissing decreases cortisol.
Really?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Listen, kissing itself has a lot of other positive benefits. It makes people feel that they have a good attachment with the person that they're with, that they're bonding, they're content in their relationship, and they feel secure in their relationship. So kissing, and here's the deal for folks who are married and who have been in relationships for a long time. I'm not going to call anybody on the carpet. I'm not even going to ask you. When was the last time you kissed your spouse? And I'm not just talking about kiss on the cheek. When was the last time? Because the research also shows the people who have been together for a long time, they tend to not engage in those type of intimate exercises.
See,
We
listen,
take them for granted.
I know you're a doctor and all.
Yep.
But I got 4 kids. 4.
Okay, all right.
And in our family, we believe kissing leads to pregnancy. Is that a good excuse not to? Kiss?
Say what?
That kissing leads to pregnancy. 'Cause I got 4 kids.
Listen, I'm not going.
Is that a different lesson?
Well, I just. I'm not going there.
All right, that's a different
Listen,
lesson. Kiss your spouse.
Kiss your spouse. My aunt said she kissed her husband 30 minutes ago. So listen, you're doing well for your health benefits
That's
already.
right. I'm gonna go kiss my wife as soon
And then
as we're
someone
done.
said they kissed their spouse this morning. Now again, I'm not just talking about some mwah. I'm talking about just go and get a good old kiss. Go get a good kiss.
PG-13 kiss.
I won't get. No.
All right, let's go on. Let's
We'll
go
leave
on.
it alone. But listen, that affection. Listen, the study that I'm quoting, I can't remember the name of it, but they studied it for a 2-week period, and people who kissed their spouses regularly, decreased their cholesterol. How about that? Decreased their cholesterol.
All right, we're gonna start winding down, my friend.
All right, what
We've been
time we
talking
got?
10:45 or 9:45.
Hey, so I gave you some practical things to do.
Yeah.
Listen, go get a funny movie, kiss your spouse, and before you watch the funny movie, go for a nature walk. Why? In 1982, the Japanese government, they put in some type of policy or some type of law. I don't know what it was, but in 1982, they advocated for their community, their population, their citizens to go for nature walks. And as a result, it decreased their heart rates, it calmed them down, it decreased their blood pressure, and it decreased their cortisol. It was called, I'm going to look it up, Xing-Ru, I believe. I'm going to look it up.
I believe it.
It was called,
I believe it.
oh boy, give me a break.
I believe it.
I'm on it.
I believe it.
Shinrin Yoko. It was called Shinrin Yoko in 1982. And basically told their population, listen, go for some walks. Told their citizens to go for some walks. Very health conscious. So listen, in the next couple of days, go for a nature walk with your significant other. Hold hands, kiss, watch a funny movie, and laugh.
Yeah.
And if you're too close to something that's stressful, step away from it.
Step away.
Go into a different room, take a deep breath, and change your body chemistry.
You're allowed to.
In those activities.
You're allowed to.
It's good to see you all.
Thanks for being with us.
Glad you tuned in.
And we will see you next week.
Next week. And we'll have a title.
Yes.
We'll have a title for the show.
Next week.